I bought it. I fucking bought the car back, and um, it still looked the same as it did when I left it, almost, which was shocking to me. I was so surprised by that all the parts, most of the parts I had on the car was there. So now, almost a year later, the car is done, and I'm about to go pick it up. Hello. So, I have the car bug, and well, I've always had the car bug, but I have a very specific car bug that I'm trying to take care of right now. And so, I had my dream car probably 6 or 7 years. 7 years. Either way, I had it for a long time, and I sold it, and I regretted it shortly thereafter. And so, a few years ago, I got this bug, and I just wanted to have a car again. And so I bought a Focus RS, thinking that would maybe take care of some things, and it didn't. I really didn't like the car. It was not disappointing, I guess, but it just wasn't as fun to drive as I would think. And I knew it wasn't going to compare to an Evo, but I wanted a car to try, and I didn't like it, so I sold it. And I thought, you know what, I just need to find another Evo. And so I'll take some time and I'll try that. So I began kind of casually searching, looking around, seeing what was out there, and everything I saw was way overpriced or way too many miles. And I get it, they're from 2006, so they're going to have a lot of miles on them. But for what I was seeing getting asked for 177,000 miles, it just didn't jive. So after searching a bit, I thought, I wonder if my Evo's still around. And, selling your dream car and then tracking it down 6 years later seems kind of like a pipe dream, right? So I found all my paperwork that I had, every form, every receipt, and, well, not every, but you get it. I found the VIN number, and I used the VIN and began the search. And the problem was the history with the car kind of dropped off after like 2014, 2015, and I just assumed that was a bad sign. And the history was gone. There was no maintenance records, nothing like that. So I assumed the car was no longer around. So then I bought this report online to see if they had any more info, and it was awful. It didn't tell me anything that I didn't already know. Actually, less than what I knew. And so they actually gave me a refund because it was so bad and I was so unhappy with it. So I thought maybe I'll turn to some Facebook groups online that like revolves around Evos and people in the area of where I sold it last. So I did that and started posting. I posted some old photos and asked anyone if they knew or saw of the car to let me know. And within about 2 weeks, I found the owner of the car. And well, I found the guy who had owned it, and he just sold it maybe 6 months prior. And so we started talking, and I explained some things, and yada yada, and he got me in contact with the guy who sold it to, which was super gracious. A random guy is like, hey, I own that car that you just sold. Can I have the guy that you sold it to his information? And, that's a little strange. But he did it, and I was super happy and glad. So there was just one little issue with the car that he told me, and it was blown up, which made me sad at first, but, the point was I found it, and I knew where it was. And so I contacted the current owner of the car who has it, and he didn't want to sell it at first, which I get it. Like, a random guy's like, hey, can I buy your car? And he's like, no, man, I just bought this thing. It's understandable. So I was like, look, if you ever want to sell it, please let me know and I'll buy it. Just tell me and I'll buy it. And that was that. I checked in here and there over the course of a few months, and then about 5.5 months later, maybe, I bought it. I fucking bought the car back, and it still looked the same as it did when I left it, almost, which was shocking to me. I was so surprised by that all the parts, most of the parts I had on the car was there, and it just needed a little TLC. And also needed to find out what was wrong with the motor, because it had been sitting at the shop he took it to. They hadn't diagnosed it yet, so I didn't know and he didn't know. So I'll skip the months of dealing with the car shop, which was 16 hours from me. I'm in Florida, the shop's in Ohio, getting things figured out, dealing with parts, in COVID, you know, and but it was just such an ordeal, stressful at times. And so they got into the motor, and the head, he said, looked fine. So I was like, wow, okay, cool, this is going to be great. But once they got the head off, he said it was basically worst case scenario, and there was no way they were going to be able to do anything with the motor. So that kind of tossed out any idea that I had of it being a quick, not so expensive fix, which had the possibility before, but now that was all gone. But that's the hand we were dealt, so we just deal with it. So now, almost a year later, the car is done, and I'm about to go pick it up. And I'm excited. You know, it's going to be a long journey by myself. I wanted to go there by myself and get it and bring it back. And so I wanted to start this channel off with this kind of series of the car and get into this and tell the story and the process. And so I wanted to film a bunch of it, but new to filming everything I do in this sense, in this aspect, tell a story. But I got some clips and I wanted to share them. So let's check out the drive and the trip, and I'll see you back in a second. Just cruising along, and it just hits you. It's like, I'm gonna get into Charlotte, North Carolina right at rush hour. 17 MPG is not ideal, and I'm not even loaded down with the car yet, but we're getting there. Alright, so first day down, got some sleep, about 5 hours. Gonna start the second leg of the trip, go pick up the car, and head back to Florida, 14 hours. Just about a mile out, almost there. All right, we are loaded up. Time to make the 16-hour drive here. Okay, so I was gonna split this up into an entirely different video in a whole new thing, but let's face it, like I said, I didn't get as many clips as I wanted to. There was just so much going on with the trip, the driving by myself, the shop. It was hectic there because he was busy getting the car into the trailer, you know, yada yada. I didn't feel like I filmed as much as I should have, and when I got back and looked at the footage, I didn't. You know, there were some times on the drive, on the way home, that I was just so tired that I needed to just make myself stay awake, and it was very hard to do. I had to pull over 2 times to just stop and get a 20-minute rest and just shut my eyes, because it was getting really hard. I've been awake for hours, and you know, so filming was kind of pushed to the side. So let's check out the day after the 48-hour trip, and got a little bit of sleep, and we'll check back in a second. Alright, I got some sleep. In 48 hours, I drove 36 of them. That was not a smart idea, but made it. Car's here. Now it's time for a deep clean. It's set outside for quite a while, so there's some pollen funk on it. Comes off with a pressure washer, so I'm gonna get on that now and hopefully get it all cleaned up. For instance, I don't know if you can see that or not on camera, but it's got a little bit of funk on it. I'm glad it comes off with a pressure washer though. Let's get the spraying. Oh, so that's it. I mean, the car's home after all this time, and it still feels kind of strange. It's kind of surreal. It's strange seeing it in the garage, but it looks the same. So it doesn't really feel like it's been gone. Actually, you know what? It feels like it's been at the shop for a long time, and I just got it back. It doesn't seem like it's been 7 years or however long. So anyway, the point is, it's here now, and we're going to tear into it and get it cleaned up. I wanted to start this channel off with this kind of car series thing, and we'll go from there with some different projects and whatnot. But yeah, the car's going to go from top to bottom, inside and out. It needs it in some things, like the interior especially. So yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm new here, but drop a like, drop a comment, a subscribe maybe, and let me know what your dream car is down below. I'd be excited to know, and maybe you have a similar story. You found your car after many years of not owning it and how strange it felt. So yeah, thanks again. See you in the next video. Bye.